Welcome, welcome, welcome. You can see that Magic Tom in the back room has switched the technology and put the spotlighted authors in the center with me as the host for all of you to enjoy this evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Hank Philippi Ryan, your host tonight for the back room. And as we get started, if you'll just mute your mics for the beginning of the program, that would be wonderful. As I said, I'm Hank Philippi Ryan, the best-selling author, USA Today best-selling author of 13 thrillers, including the standalone The First to Lie, which is now a nominee for the Anthony Award, as well as a nominee for the Mary Higgins Clark Award. Thank you. And also for Her Perfect Life, which is coming out in September, which just got a starred review from Publishers Weekly, which called it superlative, which still has me in tears. So I am incredibly grateful for that. So we are so thrilled to have a wonderful group of authors with us this evening. And let me introduce them to you right now. Dionne is the USA Today and internationally best-selling author of 2 novels of psychological suspense. Wait, Karen, The Marsh King's Daughter, which is published in 26 languages and is soon to be a major motion picture. And The Wicked Sister, which is also an international bestseller and was chosen by Publishers Weekly as one of the best thrillers of 2020. And it is now out in paperback, so that is great. She lives on a private lake in the middle of Michigan, where she spends far too many hours enjoying nature when she should be writing. So ask her about that in the breakout room. Welcome, Karen. Samantha Downing is the best-selling author of My Lovely Wife, and He Started It, which I know you have read, which are insanely good. Her newest thriller, For Your Own Good, will be released on July 20th. It is crazy good. Samantha seems like such a nice person, but this book is dark and hilarious and wonderful. Please do not miss it. It is so dark and hilarious and wonderful that it has been optioned by Robert Downey Jr. and Greg Berlanti for HBO Max. Greg Berlanti did so many wonderful TV shows, including The Flight Attendant. So congratulations, Samantha. And I know we'll all be asking you about that too. What a stellar lineup tonight. Alan Eskens, hi Alan, is an award-winning and best-selling author of 6 novels, which have been translated into 26 languages. His 7th book, The Stolen Hours, will launch on September 7th of this year. And that is fantastic. I remember meeting you at the Edgars when your book was nominated. And I love how your career is taking off. And speaking of careers taking off, Kellye Garrett is the author of the upcoming suspense novel Like a Sister and the acclaimed Detective by Day mysteries. Her work has been featured as a Today Show Best Summer Read, and she's won the Anthony, Agatha, Lefty, and Ippy Awards. So what a lineup, you all, tonight. We are so pleased that you all could be here. So we'll start now, as always, with our 20 questions. And I will ask you the questions in the order that I see you on the screen. Quickly, the quick 20 questions. Alan Eskens, what is your favorite place to work?
I have a recliner in the basement and in my rec room. I kick back, put my feet up, put my laptop on my lap. That is where I do most of my writing, but I also have a pontoon. I live on a lake. In the summertime, I do get out and try and write on the boat as much as I can, but the basement is where I do most of my writing.
Wow, Karen will have to talk with you about that pontoon writing. She has a lake as well. Samantha, what was your first job?
My first job, I worked at a fitness club. I'm from California, and it was my job to call people and try to get them to come in for a free 3-day membership.
You were that person. She was that person.
I was the irritating one, yeah.
Kellye Garrett, what was your favorite book as a child?
Of course, I'd get this question I didn't have the answer to. I always liked Encyclopedia Brown when I was younger. And then I kind of discovered Jackie Collins when I was like 13, but and then I found like cozies when I was like 11 or 12. So I've always been a mystery person.
Exactly. Karen, these are random questions. Who is starring in the movie being made out of your book? Wow, imagine that question would be here.
I really random, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So the movie actually started filming less than 2 weeks ago. So right now, up in the wilds of Canada, because my book takes place in the wilderness, Daisy Ridley, Ben Mendelsohn are running around being filmed in as the characters in my book. It just blows my mind. It's so crazy to think that that's happening right now.
Alan, where did you grow up and how did that affect your writing?
Oh, I grew up in Missouri. I live in Minnesota now, but I grew up in Missouri. And actually, that is why I became a writer. Wanted to write a story about being a teenager in the 70s, and the race issues that existed then. So my last novel, Nothing More Dangerous, is my novel set in Missouri, and it's the book that I became a writer to write. I started writing it back in 1992.
In 1992? Great. Another question that I can't believe is in this pile. Samantha, what do Robert Downey Jr. and Nicole Kidman have in common?
They both optioned my books. Nicole Kidman's production company optioned my first novel, My Lovely Wife. And you just heard Robert Downey Jr. and Greg Berlanti optioned the one that's coming out in about 3 weeks.
Kellye, let me ask you this. Has anything in your books, as you're writing, has anything in your books surprised you?
I'm a super plotter. Like I think we've discussed this before, Hank, like 25-page outlines. So the answer is no. But usually what happens is every time I'll write out my 25 pages. And then when I get to act 3, I always throw out act 3. So I guess when I get to like act 3, I get surprised. So I guess yes.
Karen, I know you have a huge list, but what is the best thing that happened to you today?
Oh, well, okay, finding that helicopter clip, but also, the first step in a movie being made is it's optioned, and The Marsh King's Daughter has been optioned for 3 years and renewed several times, but getting the green light, and seeing that check, that was pretty amazing too.
Oh yeah, I bet that was. Anyway, wonderful answers. I mean, really good new answers. But let's talk tonight a little bit about what you all are reading. We've asked you all to recommend a wonderful book that you hope that the other people here tonight will discover. So Alan, tell us what book you're recommending tonight.
Okay, I'm recommending an author. It's a 3-book series, but it's Thomas Mullen. The only book that I have in actual book form is the second book, Lightning Men. The first one is Dark Town, and the third one's coming out later this year, something Atlanta, but he's just a wonderful writer. I read his work to try and inspire myself to be a better writer. So it's just, as a writer, I enjoy someone who really knows their craft, and he writes good stories. It's about, the plot revolves around the first Black police force in Atlanta, and it's really good work.
Wonderful. Well, we'll have to invite him to come here to the back room. That would be great. Samantha, what book are you recommending?
This book came out last week, Hostage by Claire McIntosh. This takes place on an airplane. The whole book takes place on an airplane, and it reads like a fantastic movie almost. I personally love books that take place on airplanes. I used to fly a lot for work. I've spent countless hours on airplanes. I'm obsessed with anything flying related. But this is a fantastic thriller, and I highly recommend it for summer reading on the beach.
I just finished that, and it's astonishing. It's really unexpected. You think you know what a hostage on an airplane book is going to be, and this is just not it. So quite amazing. Kellye, what are you recommending?
So I'm going to recommend a series. So my series is the Charlie Mack Motown Mysteries by Cheryl Head. There's 6 of them. The 6th one comes out on Tuesday. It was just reviewed by the New York Times. I said I like cozies. I also loved PI novels growing up, like Easy Rawlins, Walter Mosley, Sue Grafton, Sarah Bretsky. And so this book, Charlie Mack, is a Black queer woman PI in Detroit in the like early 2000s, and it's like she's right at home with like Easy Rollins and Kinsey Millhone and Viola Sharsky, but it's definitely new and fresh because of the timing, the person, and I think it's just a really great series. So if you're looking for your next favorite PI series, definitely check out Cheryl's books.
And it's interesting, Aline and Druanne and Christopher Zagorski are all applauding.
We're all fans.
Choice, so
we're all fans.
That's amazing. Karen, what's your book that you're recommending?
I'm recommending A Good Kill by John McMahon. This is a PI series too. His private investigator is P.T. Marsh. And like many, he has a history. It kind of all comes to a head in this book, A Good Kill, which opens with a school hostage situation and a school shooting. That's not the main thrust of the story. The main thrust of the story is when P.T. Marsh takes down the shooter, was it a good kill or not? And that is what the story centers on. Side note, John McMahon and I have the same editor at Putnam. And when I was trying to think of what I would write for my follow-up book to The Marsh King's Daughter, my editor advised against a series because he said it's so hard to write a series that captures people's attention. At the same time, he was launching John's series. So, it's really outstanding. I can testify to that. I've read it, and the New York Times praises it up and down too. So A Good Kill by John McMahon.
That's great. I hope you'll all look through the chat because people are just cheering and applauding all of your wonderful choices. And we have put in the chat also all of the titles and all of the authors. Wasn't that fun? We hope you enjoyed that taste of what a backroom session is like. But more fun comes immediately afterward. That's when the audience is broken up into 4 breakout rooms, and each author in turn visits each room. We'd love to show you what a breakout session is like, because those relaxed face-to-face conversations between best-selling authors and readers are the hallmark of backroom events. But breakout sessions are never recorded because what's said in the back room stays in the back room.